What's up, everybody? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Friday segment of Breakfast. Ah, a Friday segment of Breakfast with Dr. Kojo. I'm your host, Kojo, checking in from hopefully sunny Los Angeles, California today. I had some dental work yesterday that prevented me from going live. And technically, Friday is not a day that we go live. I can't stay away because the moment that my mouth began to feel better, I'm like, I gotta come back on here. I gotta come back on here. So we have a very interesting topic to talk about this morning. We're gonna talk. Erica, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Go ahead and let me know where you all are checking in from as we begin this stream. But we have an interesting topic this morning. We're going to be talking about the hidden costs of anxiety, depression, ADHD, and more mental health conditions. Now, I want to hear you all's feedback. So I'm interested in getting into it. So let me make sure that everybody is able to access the content. Let's go ahead and leave our location in the chat. See, my signal good? Is it bad? Uh, Gina Clark from Texas. Gina, what's going on? We have Sarah from Alberta, Canada. Sarah, what's going on? I think my signal's a little low because the comments. All right, now the comments are coming in, but they're starting to roll in slow. I was like, what's going on? Sally Bell from Rainbow Lake, Alberta. Sally, what's going on? Teresa from Pittsburgh. Whitney from Louisiana. Elizabeth from Texas as well. We have another Texas person in the house. Alberta again, Southwest Virginia, Colorado, Altoona, Pennsylvania, Dallas. So it looks like this live stream must have gone to everybody in the state of Texas this morning. Central Nebraska. Your video helped me get back to therapy. And wow, Molly, I appreciate that. That's awesome. Ohio in the house. Baltimore, Maryland, Missouri, Illinois, Aiken, South Carolina, Montana, Southern Illinois, Michigan, Wichita, Kansas, Albuquerque, Rhode Island. That's awesome. So we have people all over. Richard says, I've been watching you since you started. It's been helping me. Richard, I appreciate that. When you say since you started, do you mean since I started posting on Facebook, or like, are you like an OG like supporter from like day one, like when I started, what, December 2019 on TikTok? It doesn't matter either way. Atlanta, Georgia in the house. LA. All right, so we have somebody from home team. Arkansas, New Mexico, Quebec. Brianna. Brianna, I appreciate you. You helped me understand why I just. Wow, I appreciate you, Brianna. That's awesome. Wow. Okay, so I really appreciate you all. Sarah says, "Oh yeah, so you all really like the borderline content. I'll make sure you keep that going." That's just fine. I'm bipolar stage 2. So you mean bipolar type 2? That's what I'm assuming. Okay, Paulina, I'm hopeful that this content can help you. You know, Brittany says, Brittany, what's going on? Much love to you as well. All right, guys, so let's get into it. Right, we're talking about the hidden costs of depression, anxiety, ADHD, and more. So let me tell you where this idea came from. I've been detailing and talking about my journey, getting my dental work done. And it's funny because I went in there and I was like, Mickey Ficky, I gotta get my teeth worked on. And I mean, like I'm able to like get my teeth taken care of, right? Like, I have the resources, but I still waited and waited and waited and waited. And just by waiting, it was so much more expensive, and I don't know if that was a procrastination thing from ADHD or whatever the case is, probably was. But if my sister had not come into town and looked at me and she's like, hey, like I see your teeth are moving apart. And then she actually like got close to me, like into my intimate space, and she was like, I think you need like a cleaning. I think you need like a dental cleaning. When's the last time you got your teeth cleaned? And I was like, man, it's been a while. I've been so overwhelmed with life, whatever. But she was right, And when I went to a dentist's office, pretty much what they were telling me was that, yeah, you brush your teeth, but do you really brush the back of your teeth? Like, are you consistent with brushing your teeth? And I'm like, this is embarrassing. Like, I think I brushed my teeth. Uh, I mean, I woke up, I brushed my teeth this morning, like, but sometimes maybe I'm not as consistent as I should be, right? And, if I had taken care of these things in time, it would have been less expensive. But I mean, that's how ADHD works, right? Things are going to cost because you might not get to things on time. So it cost me, right? And I was texting back and forth with a friend of mine who's a dentist, asking him all these dental questions. What I do, blah blah blah, and he was helping me out. And I realized, and also I looked at some of the comments that you all were saying. Um, well, and I'm looking at Summer's comment. Let me put this up here on the screen. Summer saying my dental work is estimated at 15,000 after insurance. Mickey Ficky, and I'm not even getting dentures. Oh my goodness, Mickey Ficky. Wow, like this stuff is more interesting than what I'm talking about. Uh, Mickey Ficky. I've had bad teeth. Put my kids first for years. Now there's so much work you've done. It's going to cost over 20,000. Oh my goodness! Wow, 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 wow. The dentist, Samantha. I was anxious as well. In fact, I tried to, like, I was like, they said, yeah, you have cavities. I'm like, do I really have cavities? Like, can I just live with these cavities? Like, what happens if I don't get the cavities taken care of? You know, 20,000 for my, wow. I know. Right. Kimbug. Kimbug. It gets to a point where, like you're embarrassed to go, and like I'm saying this as me, like like I should have been able to take care of this stuff, especially when I was working full time. You know, you know, like I should have done this back in Virginia when I was working full time. Point blank. Period. You know. Aaron says, constantly fail to be consistent to get things on time. Right. So there's a cost to that, Aaron. And that's what I'm talking about, because if I had taken care of the dental working time, it wouldn't have cost me so much. Right now, it's going to cost me more time. In fact, today, right after I get off alive, clean up my house a little bit, go work out, hit the gym, boom, boom, boom. I have another dental appointment. I gotta get some more cleaning done, and I just got out of the dentist chair yesterday. So that's more time, that's more money, right? More resources invested into maintenance because I couldn't get something done on time, right? So that's just one cost. That's just one cost, one hidden cost of you know ADHD, and anxiety, depression. And now I want to talk about some of the more subtle hidden costs, right? Sometimes, so even just say ADHD, right? Maybe you lose some friendships because you're not getting to places on time, right? Maybe you lose opportunities for work, because of your ADHD. Same thing with depression, like you don't get out of bed in time, or you're having a hard time keeping up with things, or you're being irritable. Sometimes you lose relationships, you lose friendships, you lose job opportunities, you lose opportunities to make money, you pay more because you're not getting things on time, late fees. So these are some of the hidden costs of mental health conditions that we don't talk about enough, and that's what I want to bring attention to. And all right, so Ashley, good morning. It's my 30th birthday. We'll have a shout out from you as well as tips on surviving the day now that I'm no longer my 20s. All right, so first of all, let's go ahead and give Ashley a happy 30th birthday. E. Happy birthday, Ashley. I hope you have a fantastic 30th birthday. So it's my official shout out to you. And tips for surviving the day. Just do the best that you can. I like to have the quote that says your best is good enough. And that applies to everything. That applies to life. That applies to even the topic that we're talking about, right? You might, based on off of what you're going through, you may be held back in certain areas, right? Things might, you might have to pay a heavier price for living life the way that you live. But let's continue to live each day, to the fullest, right? That's not even the word, but it's a phrase, right? Live each day to the fullest. Be grateful. Keeps you in the present. Keeps you less anxious, and just keep doing what you're doing. So happy 30th birthday to you. People saying happy birthday, hey, happy birthday. How much for 5 kids? Lashonda, we'll talk about that in just a second. Um, Happy birthday, hey! All right, so let's get back to the topic. Watching from Santa Barbara, beautiful city, by the way. And I appreciate your content so much. I struggle to pay my bills on time, even if I have the money for it. I just procrastinate or forget and end up with late fees. Sometimes the act of paying them seems so big. Yeah, yeah, and that sounds like an ADHD thing because I've struggled with that too in the past. And I think the first thing that people will say is put it on auto pay, right? I have bills right now that are on. Actually, I think everything is on auto pay, but they still, at least for me, they still send me like the paper bill. So sometimes I'll get the paper bill and like I'll log in and I'll try and pay it, and it won't let me pay because it's scheduled to be drafted out on auto pay. But then I'm like, I'm sitting here right now. Let me just pay it. And sometimes I go back and forth. It's quite the struggle, right? Quite the struggle. Christy says, I was supposed to be sending price codes to clients right now, but I stopped to watch this. Christina. Christina. All right, Christina, whenever the live stream is done, let's shift straight to the price quotes. How about that? Right? How about that? Someone says, oh, to be 30 again. Lorraine Boucher. For me, having to work odd hours plus not being able to sleep and stress super high. Yeah, I mean, look, if you can't sleep, I mean, insomnia by itself seems to be a common denominator for a lot of things. You see that sometimes in ADHD, sometimes in depression, sometimes in anxiety. You see that in PTSD sometimes. You see that with bipolar disorder sometimes. Uh, Even schizophrenia. I mean, you see insomnia is like that annoying not friend but that annoying like little gnat, like when you're sitting in your car on like a cool summer day and like you're relaxed listening to music and the windows are up, but somehow like a gnat or some fly like came inside the car and like you're like you're trying to get it out the way, so you roll down the windows but it's more of them are coming in. That's like what insomnia is. It's always there to kind of like frustrate you. Making a list of things can cause anxiety, then marking out the ones we can't control and work on the ones we can't. Rachel, I agree. Let's focus on what we can control as opposed to what we can't control, right? And I that's that helps to prevent you from feeling like you're helpless, right? Helplessness sometimes runs along with hopelessness, and we see that a lot of times in depression. And it's funny because I'm writing about that right now in the book. Like I just finished a section on helplessness and hopelessness, so it's important to be mindful of that. You said my name right. Hey, I won. I didn't win, but I got second place in the spell being fifth grade. So, I try and take pride in saying people's names correctly. I struggle to take care of myself. I'm talking about drinking water, remember to eat. I've gained weight because I have disordered eating, like eating late at night, but not being hungry or have time during the day. Linda Kikuchi. It's a nice name. So, yeah, this is something that we can talk about more, like hygiene as an adult or struggling to keep up with hygiene. And I think when people think of like an adult that's struggling to keep up with hygiene, you think of somebody who is um, like you certainly don't think of probably somebody like Linda or somebody like me. You think of somebody who was like maybe been in bed for like 3 weeks and hasn't brushed her teeth once, hasn't showered once. I mean, I've seen that before, like many times. But sometimes it could be subtle. It could be somebody who takes a shower once, twice a week. As opposed to let's say your baseline is 5, 6 times a week, and now you're showering once or twice. You used to brush your teeth and floss, you know, every day, sometimes twice a day, and now you're doing that like maybe twice a week or 2, 3 times a week, or only on the days that you have to like be around other people, and the days when you don't have to be around people, like your hygiene is like not all the way there, like because you're just in the house, so you're just, maybe you're not like smelling yourself or like, you know, doing that little breath check before you get in public. You're like, just to see if if you're all right. So it can be very subtle. video about ADHD person struggling to keep a routine. Yeah, it's tough. Literally, you have to make the routine as I think as simple as possible, right? That's why I cannot wait for this app to come out. The ADHD accountability app. I've already told y'all what I plan to use it for. For us to wake up in the morning, to go for a walk, and eat breakfast. And of course, with the app, you all can start your own accountability groups. But the big one that I'm creating, that's what we plan to do in there. You know, let me see what. Same with washing my work clothes. I just wear the same clothes for days on end. I've I've done that at least like maybe twice, like back to back. I don't think I've worn the same thing 3 days in a row. But yeah, no, I definitely get this. Daniel says since the pandemic, especially getting a shower is really hard to feel like doing. And uh, Danielle, I completely agree with this, or at least for me. Uh, and a lot of you all who watch on Facebook are not really familiar with like my journey or like what I'm doing online. I could tell just by some of the comments, But long story short, like I was working full time, doing forensic psychiatry in Virginia, and I left to come to LA to do more of social media and to reach more people. And it's been working so far. But when I was working full time and I was going into the psychiatric hospital, I was like on top of everything. Like I was always like smelling good, always like I was on point because like I'm around people, right? I don't want the social worker, coming to my office and then she's like, I can smell something funky, right? But then when I started to do telehealth, it was some days where I'm like, all right, I'm running late on time. I'll see the patient, whatever, and I'll shower late in the day, or maybe after I work out for the day or something like that. Like you weren't as, or at least for me, I wasn't as on top of like the hygiene. That's why working from home can be like it can be something else, now. It can be something else. Jen says your videos give me so much hope. I was diagnosed with depression, anxiety, ADHD. Having authored can be debilitating, but helps know I'm not the only who struggles with it. Thanks for the content. Jen, I appreciate you. Thank you for the attention. I do appreciate you. Let me see what Leilani says. Morning, Leilani, what's going on? I didn't think you'd be live this morning. I didn't think I'd be live either. But I woke up this morning. The first thing that I did, obviously, I woke up. I thank God for giving me another day. I said, God, thank you for waking me up. I'm not sure what I'm going to do today, but allow me to have a productive day and let's get it. But I woke up and I felt my mouth, and I was like, I didn't feel too much pain. I'm like, all right, I feel good. I can talk. If I can talk, I'm gonna go live. If I can talk, I'm gonna go live, right? But I feel good, feel great. Um, Late nights, got some extra sleep in, ready to go. That's what's up. You gotta make sure you get that sleep. Kayla says the singing your jam is till 2-3 p.m. and changing right before anyone. Right. And Kayla, while we're on this point, sometimes if, especially with, let's say, the combination of like ADHD and depression, right? If you're, which can make self care hard, right? Sometimes with the ADHD part, needing like a sense of urgency to get things done. If you struggle to get things done, here's a potential tip, right? Just off of what Kayla's saying, when people come over, right, whether you're embarrassed or that you're not like, your hygiene isn't taken care of, or you're embarrassed of your house not being clean, whatever the case is, you could use people coming over as a catalyst to getting you up, to getting things done. So if you don't have to own that with you out of bed is the fact that so and so is over, hey, tell them to come over. Hey, say, hey, let's hang out at 10 a.m. And at night you know that you have some extra hours to sleeping if you need to, but you also know that they're gonna come at 10. So at a certain time, you gotta wake up, gotta clear the dishes out, put them in the dishwasher, gotta take a shower, do some of the basics, that could help you out. Amanda says, I have to say, getting my dog after leaving my ex-husband, who himself also has ADHD, while clinically depressed, was the best thing I could have done. He gets me outside at the very least, and he keeps me at the bare minimum brushing my teeth, because that boy tells me when my breath stinks. The dog tells you when your breath stinks, what type of a dog is this? Not to get sidetracked, but I'm like, what type of a dog is this? But uh, to your point, I do agree that having a dog is very helpful. I have my dog. I'm thinking about getting another dog. I've been doing some research on getting another dog, and uh, I'll definitely let y'all know on Facebook. I'm gonna surprise y'all with something. I'm gonna surprise y'all. Kayla says such a good idea. I do agree. It says he's a Vizsla. He turns his head away. I've never heard of a Vizsla before. It sounds like a cross between a dog and a Tesla. I don't know. What am I talking about? You get the point, though. Uh, Carolina, what's going on? How you doing? I'm a 9-month-old daughter. Postpartum depression hit, and now all my attention goes to my daughter and not myself or anything else I need to do. And this can be difficult, Javin, because sometimes you feel like you almost feel like it's selfish to do for yourself, because like you're thinking that the average person's like, the baby, like take care of the baby, look after the baby, right? The baby can't take care of itself, so you have to take care of the baby because the baby's a baby, but you're an adult, so you can get to yourself later, right? And sometimes that thinking is so pervasive and it cuts deep, and before you know it, not that you neglect your self care, but like it's very much like not the first thing that you worry about sometimes. Um, Routine for me is, yeah, and the routine and accountability and boundaries is extremely important. So even when I first started going live here, on Facebook through StreamYard, uh, wow, I started going live like January and it's April. So I'm proud of myself for being consistent. But people would say things like, um, why are you going live 4 times a week? Or thank you so much for your time. I'm like, hey, this helps y'all just as much as it helps me. Like having that routine to where I know that Monday through Thursday at 6 o'clock by the time I go live, like it helps me. Like I need that, or else like I'll be here and then I'll be Santa Monica and I'll be in Hollywood. And I'm doing this thing and that thing. You need some type of structure in your life. Uh, I do all the time. I'm debating getting a part-time job, so I quit sleeping all day and then get up 30 minutes before my husband gets home, trying to make it look like I did something. Summer, can you tell? Can you tell that you did or didn't do something? Um, Francesca, I've seen so many videos related to ADHD. Other doctors and therapists that confuse with depression. Yes, so keep in mind, doctors and therapists are human, so they can confuse ADHD with depression, borderline, bipolar, a lot of different things. And we're gonna have a live where we talk about the importance of getting the right diagnosis. Like that's the first step for proper health. Super important. Raymond, my bro and I live together and inherit a house, and he has no motivation to do anything. I've been depressed for a while. I think the house energy is affecting my depression. What do I do? I do not want to move or start over. What to do? Oh, this is a good question right here. Mickey Ficky Raymond, this is a great question. So the house energy is affecting my depression. What do? I don't want to move or start over. So I completely agree with you that like sometimes the aura of like a house or like the energy of like a place or a condo, it could affect your depression, right? Especially if let's say you're in a house with like your brother, right? He has no motivation. And I'm not saying that he's depressed at all, but with depression, we also see low motivation, right? But we see it with ADHD and a lot of other things. So let's say that you struggle with depression, and then you wake up in the morning, and then you look around and you look at your brother, and he's not doing anything at all, and he's exhibiting some of the same symptoms that you're exhibiting. That can be very difficult. I would say you don't have to necessarily move, but switching up the environment could be good, right? What can you do to like this? I feel like you have to switch something up. Like something can't stay the same, you know. Uh, and at the very least, like it'd be good to do something differently. Like and the smallest thing helps. Like if you take, um, you know, if you take I-75 to get home, normally, then today take Cobb Parkway. You know, I'm thinking of streets back in Atlanta, but switch it up, switch up your routine. You more than likely your days are running together. They look like they're the same. Switch something up. Tell your brother, all right, today let's go do this, let's go do that. What can we do today to make it a little bit better than yesterday? But if you don't switch things up, if you don't throw in a new hobby or something, or just anything small to switch it up, you're gonna get caught in this rut where you can't tell a Tuesday from a Saturday, and it's easy to be in that funk. You know. Nelly says I change things up in my house all the time. It really helps. Yeah, like literally take the couch, move it here. Now you're gonna watch TV this way, right? You're gonna watch TV this way. Of course you're not gonna watch it like that, but maybe you're gonna watch it this way, or you watch like this. And the whole time I'm doing this squeaky chair thing is is bothering me. I hate it. I hate that. I hate that. Let me see. Never realized I had ADHD until I started watching your videos. I was always told I had depression, which I never thought I did. Thank you for educating those that otherwise wouldn't receive it. April, I appreciate you. I hate where I live. Constant noise makes me more anxious, especially after. I'm sorry to hear that your father passed, Elena. You can't handle loud or abrupt noises. Yeah, so sometimes the answer is you may have to look into moving, or maybe if the lights are too bright, close out blinds, or figuring out what you can do about the noises. But those things can throw you off sometimes. How do you decipher comorbid diagnoses? Twice confirmed bipolar 2, BPD, ADHD, and anxiety. Too many overlapping symptoms that all feel like ADHD, mania, depression all at once. Ali, good question. So, all right. So this is what I would do. So assuming Ali was my patient, right? And let's say Ali had been to like a combination of 6, doctors and psychiatrists and nurse practitioners who have seen her and given her all these different diagnoses, right? And I become your new provider and I take over. I will take all the information from the past, right? I'll read through all your notes, right? As many as I can get. Read through all your notes, and then I'll have an idea of what I'm looking for. But I'm still going to ask you all the questions in the psychiatric evaluation. So I'll take all your diagnoses, right, and consolidate them all into like one or a couple of them that I feel like the person has based off of their history and based off of the questions I'm asking them at that moment, right? And then that's why I would roll it. Then I would say this person has 1, 2, and 3, or 1 and 2, based off of what I see. And then maybe if I'm working with that person for a while, then after a while I'm like, you know what? I thought this person was depressed, but I think it might be bipolar too. And I would explain why I think it is what it is. And then I would go back and forth with the patient, and we'd talk about why I think what I think, and we would figure it out. Like I think out loud. Of course, not everything you say, but I think out loud, so that way people, at least my patient can see what I'm like thinking. And like I want you to ask me questions, right? At least for me, I'm like I don't want to be talking, and like it should be a conversation. I shouldn't just be talking at you. What island are you living? I'm living on Los Angeles Island, California. Delisa, I have a little boy who struggles with ADHD. I've always felt like ADHD gets brushed off, but it can be such a battle for those who have it. Love your videos, and it gives help understanding to those who don't. Delisa, I appreciate that. And it's wild how much of a it's wild how much it gets brushed off, considering how much of an impact it has on one person's life, right? So I'm happy we're able to talk about it more. I agree. Boredom causes depression. I'm fighting my own battle right now. I have to force myself to leave the house. I usually feel better when I come back. So there could be a link between boredom and depression, but it's good for people to do things. Like I'm always a fan of people doing, but keep in mind, it's depending on where you live, it can be hard. Like right now, I live in Los Angeles, it's so much easier to do things here in LA as opposed to when I was living in Williamsburg, Virginia, right? I mean, not, it was a tourist city. I love Williamsburg, great city, right? I even want to go back, go to Jamestown and Busch Gardens. Like I like to go back, but there's not as much to do in that town as there is here in LA, right? So I can literally just take my car and just drive somewhere to a brand new park and walk around and say, okay, I'm checking out this park today. Like I can do so many new things out here for free. So I do think location matters. But even like wherever you are, just switching things up, switching things up can be helpful for your peace of mind, right? We talk about the hidden costs of all these different mental health conditions. Sometimes like your mental state of mind, like you might not be at the strongest if like you're stuck, there's no routine, you're having a hard time getting out the house. So sometimes just switching it up, whatever you can do, switching it up. Let me see. Uh, being there's a good documentary. Oh, I might need to watch it. How can I stop telling people my problems? Ryan, maybe having a licensed professional could help. Because maybe, or maybe having a relationship where you have people that who tell you things about themselves as well, so that way you don't feel like it's like a one-way thing. Like you don't feel like you're using your friends as your therapist. Can anyone ever grow out of ADHD? Good question. I think it's probably the minority, right? The or if anything, the inattentive symptoms seem to kind of stick around, and the hyperactive ones tend to fade away as people cross into adulthood. Um, all right, so we're at the 30-minute mark. All right, you all, you know what time it is. It's about that time, y'all. I need somebody to drop the magic word in, and in about 30 seconds, y'all know what time it is. You should never have to prove your symptoms to a professional. Yeah, normally you just tell your professional what you're going through, and then you work together. Um, kind of like the Beatles song, "Come Together." Woodbridge. Yeah, I think Woodbridge was like a 30-minute. No. It was probably like a 3-hour drive from Williamsburg. Let me see. Cheers. Cheers. I see Amanda's a little confused. Amanda, you're probably new to this thing right here, but cheers. That's that water break that we have to take. Every live, we have to do that water break. We have to do that water break. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Cheers. Cheers. Adam, almost 11. All right. We have to pause the show and give Adam a love of the show. Everybody say congratulations, Adam. This is fantastic. I give Adam a love of the show. Congratulations. Almost 11 months over. And I'm a big fan of celebrating anything. I used to not be good at celebrations. I used to be hard on myself for anything. I'm like, whatever. But now we're gonna celebrate everything. Celebrate, so 11 months of being sober. I like the fact that we're not waiting for a year. Like right now we have this moment right now. We can celebrate a year in May next month. But right now it's important to celebrate 11 months. It helps you get to the year mark. Congratulations. Hey, yeah. See, there's people out here rooting for you. Taraji, Misty, we're rooting for you. Brandy, yes, we're gonna get to bipolar disorder much more. Okay, checking every. with Sarah, I know, right? Like I should just come on live and just I could literally sometimes just come on live, just have our bomb. We just clap it up and I go about my day. Oh boy. My son has ADHD. He's grown up, but my grandbaby has it. And Tammy, I appreciate that. And a lot of mental health conditions like ADHD, there's that genetic link. So it runs in families. So if you talk about it more and you educate the family, it's only going to help the next person who has it, right? I've been so hard on myself my whole life. I'm just now coming to for learning. Yeah, it is freeing, and people have different ways of getting to that point where they're hard on themselves, right? And for me, I think it comes from playing football, for the short time that I did in high school, right? And like, locker room talk, the way we as guys talk to each other and the way we hype each other, like, there's a lot of cussing, there's a lot of, so that's the language that I understood. So sometimes I'll be like, saying a couple of choice words here and there. But that's that gladiator mentality that you have to kind of be good at football, right? Everyday sober deserves. I agree. Tabitha, I completely agree. Oh shoot, Nikki Ficky, 36 minutes. All right, so I gotta head off now and get my day started. I got appointment after appointment. I gotta get my teeth and stuff checked. Mickey Ficky. April, congratulations as well. Congrats, April. Let me give April a quick love of the show before I check out. Congrats, April. All right, y'all. So I gotta bounce, but I'll definitely be doing more of these morning check-ins. Keep in mind we have a very special episode tomorrow. Tomorrow on the late night show. We don't normally do the show on. I'm gonna leave right here. Congrats, April, so people can see that while I talk. We don't normally do shows on Saturday, but we have a special episode on Saturday night tomorrow. I'm going to be announcing two separate projects that I've been working on that are going to be released in Mental Health Awareness Month. It's man, it's going to be crazy tomorrow night because I've been sitting on these two things for a while and I've been waiting to announce them. So I've been talking, you know, with my publicists. We've been working together to figure out when to announce these things. And I'm super excited. So tomorrow I won't keep you all waiting, and I'll announce the projects, and I will show you all the trailers for what I have coming up. And once again, thank you for your support. Thank you for this community. It means everything to me. So just the fact that you all choose to check in and follow and catch these live streams, it means a lot. So until tomorrow night, you all take care. Peace.